Yeah, hello, hi. So let's start with today topic. Like we are going to study. So I think you have already done studied so many topics like object and the manipulation of the object. Basically, you have gone through, right? And you have understood like what is the difference between object and array. So that also you have got into picture, right? So you have gone through like object manipulation, like creating the object, modifying the property, checking the properties. So many things you have gone through, right? And we have now multiple methods available in the object to give us more like knowledge on the object and to give us more what is that? Uh, like the weapon to solve the problems based on the object concept. Okay, so we are going for that. So today we are going to check with multiple methods. So first is object.assign. So object.assign is a method which copy the object from one variable to another variable. Okay, it's like a copying of object. So that is basically a dot assign. Okay, so how it works is I'll just show you the okay, I'll just open it. Okay, so let's suppose I'm just creating the object, right? So okay, so I'll just write a name John. Is it visible? The screen is visible properly? Zoom is fine. Yeah, okay. So yeah, name and as just is I'll write. Okay. So this is a one object, right? So basically, if I just write obj1, okay, and I just write obj, okay, this is fine. Like anyway, if you want to copy from any value from the any variable, we just write assignment operator, right? And we just assign the value to the another new variable, right? So that is the thing we'll do. But why this is not preferable and why we are going for dot assign method, there is a reason behind it. Like see, whenever we try to use other than object, let's suppose one number I am trying to write, right? And if I'm trying to copy that value to obj1, and then I'm trying to do log, so I'll just be obj and just be obj1, right? obj1. So in this scenario you can see like there is a no difference, like we are successfully able to copy the value from one variable to another variable. So we can see 2030. But here, if let's suppose I just wanted to update the value of obj1 to 45. Okay, 45. So basically obj1 I have taken the previous value, that is 23, and I'm again modifying the obj1 to 45. Now when I try to print this, we can see like there is a obj value as 23 but obj1 value as 45. Okay, but if I try to print both the value, obj is not got changed, right? Obj is still having the original value 23. Okay, so this type of mechanism is called as a what is that? It's called as a pass by value. Okay, pass by value. So pass by value is nothing but it's like a creating a Xerox copy of your original print. Okay, so if you create any Xerox copy of original print booklet or any paper, so if you change anything to the Xerox copy, it won't affect to your original print, right? It will be one other isolated, both are isolated basically. So that is one thing. So that is called as pass by value. It's like a copy of the value sending to the other variable. So that is happened with the numbers or with the arrays or with the string. But with object, it won't work the same way. It won't work the same way. So what happens whenever we try to copy object, okay, whenever you try to copy, and let's suppose if this obj is there and I have name John and obj1 is there where I have copying the value of obj, okay, and then I'm trying to store the value to obj1, and now let's suppose I'm just trying to change obj1 dot name equals, I'm just trying to change at Harry. Okay, it's trying to change as Harry. So once I change this, what happens? We expect obj1 as Harry, right? We expect obj as John. It should not be any changes, right? But the problem here will be whenever I print this, you can see both the object has changed. Okay, both the object have changed. So that is the reason behind it is whenever we create any object variable value, so there is not a pass by value. It won't be a Xerox. It's like a sharing same note between you and Ganesh. Okay, sharing same printout between you and Ganesh. Okay, so what happens, like, see how I'm checking in the docs, Google Docs. So I'm creating the Google Docs, I'm making share to you, I'm sharing her. But let's suppose if I'll give edit operation to you and edit operation to her, so any changes she will do, you will also face, I'll also face that changes. Any changes I'll make, you both are getting that changes, right? So that is kind of like sending the address to you. Like, see how I can tell, like, see let's suppose Ram is there and Sam is there. So let's suppose Ram brought some 4 5 chocolates, so he just gave 2 3 chocolates to Sam. So there won't be any effect out of it, like there won't be any modification, like if Sam is having the 2 3 chocolates, he can have the 2 3 chocolate, but he don't have idea where the chocolate comes from. Ram again tomorrow he can go and he can get the chocolate back, another chocolate. But let's suppose Ram showed the address of the shop where the chocolate is available. So that time what happens? Sam can go today and he can buy all the chocolates, which will not be available tomorrow for the Ram. So it's like providing the address to the people instead of providing the value. So whenever you provide address to the people, to that address anyone can go and do some modification. So that modification you will also be faced. So same thing happens whenever we try to copy the object from one variable to another variable, the address will be passed. So it's like one object pointing by the two variable, that is obj and obj1. Okay, something like that. So two people pointing at the same thing, and if one people change that, then other people will also get affected. So that is the thing happening in the object. Okay, it's called as a pass by reference. So to avoid this, see, now if I write using assignment operator, we can't do that, right? Because it's a changing. So we have to follow some approach where obj1 changes its value so that obj should not get affected. So in that scenario, we go for one method called object dot assign. Okay, object dot assign. So object dot assign, what it does, it will just copy from one object to another object. Okay, and it returns a new object. Basically it returns the new object. So it takes initial, so initial value will be the object as curly bracket, that is initial object, right? Default object basically. Now if I just write the value as obj1, okay, obj, right? So what I'm doing here, what this method is doing, basically it is creating a new object, that is this one. Okay, that is this one, by assigning the value of obj to it. So basically obj object dot assign will return you new object. Okay, so that new object, now it's completely isolated with this. Previously directly this was passed to this, but now to already we have separated, we have created one more copy of object, that is curly bracket, and that object we are assigning to obj1. Now if obj1 name will get changed, that time obj will not get affected. So if you can see obj is still John and obj1 is Harry. So just we have changed obj1, right? So this is one kind of method which can be used for actual copying of the data. Because see, now this is the concept, object concept, you will be keep on seeing to the further classes. Like your entire project will be depend on this object. Whatever data you are going to store in the database, that is completely on object based. Okay, completely on object based. So everything which you are going to study from now, that all will come with the object. Okay, so that is the reason. So let's suppose like you are getting some data from the database and you are modifying it by copying using assignment operator, then that what happens, like it will just affect the database data, right? To not make the changes to the original database data, what we do, we just use object dot assign. Okay, so what happens, like it will make the breakage between the two objects, so it will be good, like proper copying of the object from one variable to another variable. Okay, this is the thing which you have understood. Okay, one more thing is there. So one more thing is there, what? One more thing is there, like have you got the concept of like object property can have of any value? Have you got from her the concept? The object property can have any value, right? Even the function, even the another object also. correct? So let's suppose here I'm writing address. Okay, so let's suppose address has street, correct? Street, some street like Vijayanagar, something like that is there. Okay, now using object.assign, I already told you, like using object.assign, it will just isolate, right? It will just isolate. So I'll just go for obj1.name. So I just change. Now next obj1 dot address dot street. I'll just change to M0. Let's suppose I'm just trying to change. Now as expected, what you will get? Same, like there will not be any effect from obj and obj1, right? See this. Anything you understood out of this answer? Mhm. Okay. Yeah. So this obj object.assign is called as a shallow copy. Shallow copy means what happens? Like it will just create the isolation only for the parent value, not for the child object. So let's suppose if we have the nested object kind of concept. So that time again it will create the pointers pass by reference. Okay, so whenever any object property having the object as a value, that time what happens? It is not making proper way of copying. Okay, proper way of copying means completely it should be isolated. Completely it should be isolated. Either it is nested object or object inside object inside object. So this should not be there. Okay, so whatever we are trying to copy, it should be proper copy. So in that scenario, you are seeing like this is getting failed. Right, this is getting failed because there is a nested object. Okay, but if your object does not have nested object, then you can use this object.assign. That is not a problem. Okay, so this is one problem with object.assign you have to keep in mind now. So how we are going to overcome this, we are going to see, I think, in the next classes maybe. Okay, there are some other way to which works completely, like which makes completely one object to another object isolation. Okay, isolation. Okay, so I think that is the place where we'll go and check. So I think already have understood, right? So yeah, anything is there? Okay, okay. Now this object.assign missed one thing, like I think it can take a multiple like what is that object. Okay, take multiple source, like source are multiple source we can go, but target is only one. So let's suppose obj3 will be there, and I'll just go for uh, phone, something like that, and I can just pass here obj3. Okay, so you can see it's obj3. Okay, so two object making as one object. So multiple source you can do. Okay, got it, multiple source. But if the multiple source is having, like let's suppose, see obj name is there, right, John, but this one is having other name, means it will override because it will work for top to bottom approach. So whatever top value is there, because already you know object has all the key which is very unique, key will be never duplicated. So let's suppose here name is John, right, and here also obj3 also name is, let's suppose, Mac, and this object and this object, both object we are passing as a source to obj1, right? So it should take this object as well, it should take this object property as well, all the properties only it will take and it will just add it, right? So now the value will be, okay, the value, okay, I think maybe I have done something. Oh, it's ignoring. See, I think it's ignoring, right? It's ignoring this. I missed it. I think, yeah. So see, it has taken already name as Harry, and address it's taking from M0. That is fine. Like we are changing the. Oh, okay. No, 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 no. Maybe because of this. Maybe because of this. Because already we are hide this one overriding, right? Again. So that is the reason. Let's see what is happening. So see, as I was saying, bottom top to bottom approach. That's why I was getting confused, like why it's not changing, because it has to change. See, this obj has name John. Okay, so this is the first parameter, right? So when obj will go to when this obj will go to this place, so what happened? Name John, address street, these all will come, right? But again, obj3 has to go to same object, right? Same object. So when obj3 go to same object, it has also name. So that time what happens? It will just modify that name. It will just modify because already name present, that means it will override. That is the reason we'll tell as object has always unique key. It will not be duplicate key. Never it happens the duplicate key will never come. Okay, so that thing you have to keep in mind. Okay, so object.assign you understood what is object.assign, copying, and what is the fallback for it, like what is the disadvantage of object.assign. Okay. Okay, so next we are going for object.key. So it's very simple one. Like object.key is nothing but like, see, just you wanted to get all the property value from the object, all the property name, all the key from the object. So if you want to collect all the key from the object, just you write object.key. Okay, object.keys without passing any data. It's not for the copying, it's directly you will get the key. Okay, I'll just delete this. Okay, so let's see. So obj1 basically you will get all the key, and that too the return type of key will be always array. Key will be always array. Okay, so it will be always array. So I'll just, okay, might be something I'm missing. Oh, okay, I have not passed the object only. Okay, I'll just delete this as well. I need to create a confusion for you. Okay, so see, obj is there. So name, address. So basically two keys are there. Nested it won't take. Only the parent one. Okay, so name and address it will just take. So all the key, name and address in string format, it will just store in obj1. That is a list, we can tell. Key list. Writing the proper variable name also you have to be very careful. Okay, A, B, C, D, something A, B, C, D, those you should not write. You should write proper meaningful variable name. Okay, so that also you should keep in mind. Okay, so you can see name and address. Okay, now your question comes, why we need this key? Why we need? See, one way we can loop through the object, that is using for in loop, right? But if you want to loop using for of loop, then that time you can just collect using key. Correct. Using key, you can just loop like a array type, and you based on the obj of name, obj of address, you can get the data from the object. Right. Let's suppose if I'm looping this key list, I can loop using for loop. Key list, right? Key list. And if I want to get the data of the object, then I can just write obj of, what is that? Item, right? Item. So this things also will give you the same value, right? Console.log. So either you can loop through array or you can loop through for in loop. Anything is fine. See, you will get. Okay. Yeah, this is the one, John. Right, you will get John and one street, two value you got, because you are writing obj of item. Obj of item is nothing but obj of name, obj of address. So obj of name is nothing but John, obj of address nothing but street. So either this way you can loop or that way you can loop. But why I'm teaching you off for off means, in some scenario might happens like you have to remove the key and you have to do something with this. Okay, in that scenario you have to use object.keys. Same way you can write object.values to collect all the value from the object. Okay, to collect all the value from the object. So only it will return you the value. See, only it will give you the value. Okay, so this type of scenario when it will come, let's suppose you have some object data, and let's suppose country name. So you want to make a drop down box for all the list of countries. So it will be like country name, some Bangladesh, country name Nepal, country name India. So in that case, what you will do, you'll just get all the values. So all the values means directly you will get all the values, and then directly you can attach to the drop down box. So it won't be like country name India, country name it. You'll never see like that, right? You will just see the name of the list of the name of the country. So in that scenario, you can use object.values. Okay. Okay. So object.values, object.freeze. Okay. So object.freeze, what happens? There is a mechanism. Like see, now you can see either I'm writing object dot any object or I'm copying to the object. I can able to modify the first object, right? I can able to modify the value of this object. If I want to modify the value of the object, like let's suppose obj dot name, I'll do, and I'll just modify. Right, I can modify. It's normal, right? I can just modify and I can just write obj. Fine. So it is modifiable. But let's suppose you wanted to make the object not modifiable. Okay, you wanted to make the object not modifiable. Like no one should modify that value. Basically, no one should modify that value. In that scenario, what you can do, you can just use object.freeze. So object.freeze means just we are freezing it. We are not allowing any person to modify the value. Okay, we're not allowing any person to modify the value. So method prevent new property for being added to the object. Okay, this method also prevent existing property for being removed or modified. Okay, so neither we can add any object or any other new property, nor you can modify the value, or nor we can remove the value. Okay, nor we can remove the value. But I think we can do something which wait, one thing I'm missing. So method prevent new property for being added and existing property for being modified. Okay, modify is available. Okay, so basically freeze is doing everything. Like it's not able to modify, it's not ready for you to remove, and it's not ready for you to add. So nothing operation is possible in once we do object dot freeze. Right, once we do object dot freeze. So it's not be written like this, basically it's written like this, something like that. Okay, so now if I want to modify the object, it won't get modified. So I'll just write obj dot name equals max, something like that. See, it's not got modified. Okay, not got modified because we have freezed. But the main question is what the freeze will return, because anything we are studying with what is the return type, right? So let's check with the return type. What is the return type it's giving the freeze? Maybe it's giving the same object. Okay, let's try to check. Result. Let's see what is the result giving. So result giving the same data. Means after making it freeze, it's just returning the value of the same. Got it? So it's returning the value of the same. So same value it's returning, freeze. Okay. So this is kind of like it won't able to modify. If you want to delete, have you gone through the delete operation of the object? Delete. Okay, then fine. Then delete. We'll just try to do delete obj dot name. But before that, I'll just do object dot freeze. Okay, so and then after deleting, I'll just console log obj. Okay, we can see the name has not got deleted, right? Because we have freezed. Correct. So modify is not possible, delete is also not possible. Now let's try to add one more property. So after freeze, we'll just do obj dot phone. Okay, so let's try to check. So that is also not possible, right? Means adding new property also not possible, deleting the property also not possible, and modifying the property also not possible, right? All the threes are not possible using freeze. But when you use using seals, then what happens? Like using seal, adding and removing is not possible. Deleting and adding is not possible, but we can modify. We can modify. Now see, now it's not possible, right? Because we are adding new property. But if you want to modify name as some other name like Mac, it is possible. See, it is possible. Okay, so this type of scenario you might face in interview questions also will be there. Like let's suppose objects are there and you wanted to not modify, or you wanted to make that object not like what is a change, okay, or not let the object to what is that, add new property, so something like that. So you have to tell like, yeah, we can use object freeze, we can use object seal. So based on your questions you can you can tell the answer for that. Okay, so these are the most important thing, because what happens now, like whenever you get data from the database, so you should not modify the data. You can use the data, you can use the structure, but you should not add some extra things and all to that. So that database, whatever data is stored, that might get structure get changed if you'll do such things. Okay, so to make the proper structuring and all, maintain the proper structure, we'll use object.seal or object.freeze. So we try to freeze. Okay, so I think you have studied about the creating a variable type, like that is const, let, and var, right? So if I write const abc, and if I just try to assign a new value, now tell me what is the value for this abc. Sorry. 34. No, it will give error, because it will tell like constant variable will not be reassigned. Okay, because that is the violating rule. Because the variable which you are making constant, it should not be modified, right? It should be modified. But if you do the same thing, even though you are writing const, okay, const, but if you do same thing for variable, sorry, object, that is okay. That is not a problem. See, if I'll write this, and if I just write dot name equals Mac, now tell me. Now, even though it is constant, it is used for helpful for doing things. Okay, let's suppose I'm just adding new property. So abc dot phone equals, I'm just writing some value, right? So we can able to add the properties. That is also fine. Let's suppose I'm just trying to delete. So delete abc dot name, right? So now only phone should be there. So that is also possible. Okay, in const, even though it is const, but what is not possible in const, when the variable is assigned with the keyword as const and which is having the value as object, all the things are possible, I'm saying, right? Adding the new property, modifying the existing property, or deleting the property is possible. But what is not possible, if let's suppose you are trying to assign with new object. Let's suppose you are just getting like this, or you are just writing here phone colon something. So this is not possible. Okay, assigning the new object to the same object, same variable is not possible. Okay, only modifying inside the object is possible. Deleting properties, playing with the properties, manipulating with the properties is possible, but reassigning with the new value, new object to that variable is not possible. Okay, so see, it tells assignment to the constant variable at the same time, same place. Okay, same way it works for the array. Whenever we go for the array, we create an array, and if you want to add element to the array, delete element from the array, modify the array, it's possible. But you can't reassign a new array value. Okay, that is for const. Works for object and array in this way. Okay, so this is also keep in mind, because they might ask you like, yeah, freeze though we can do this, seal we can do this, any other way we can make some object like feasible, or maybe interviewer will tweak you, like they'll ask, okay, they'll write a constant and assigning some number value, they'll just modify and they'll tell, okay, what is the output? So we'll tell error. So same way they'll just change to object and they'll just try to modify the object variable, object property value. Then you will also tell no, it's error because you'll tell no, constant means everything will be const. But in object it won't work like that. Okay, so this concept is very important for you. Okay, fine. Okay. So I think this is one and then has an property. So tell me if you wanted to check whether the properties are available in the object or not. So what you have used till now, I think you have studied in, right? Okay. So same other way is there, that is has an property. Has an property. So it will just give you whether the property is existing or whether the properties is not existing. Using true and false, it will just return. Okay. It will return true and false. Now see. Now let's try to check if let's suppose obj has name John, right? So I'm just writing log, what is that? Uh, let's suppose name, sorry, name in, what is that? Obj, right? This is the way. No, I think name should be quotes, right? Something like that. Okay, it's returning true, right? Because name is there. But instead of name, let's suppose I'll just write add address. What it returns? False, right? So this is one thing. And let's suppose the object is empty and I'm trying to do. So it's returning false, right? Okay. Now let's just go back to object.hasAn property. Property with just a value, I'll just give as a name, same, right? True, right? Let's suppose I'm just giving address. So it's returning false. So it's, I think it's both are same, but some differences are there. I just wanted to check like what is the difference available and all. Yeah, maybe let me check with this. I think some difference is there with in and with has an property. Okay, right now I'm cannot recollect as of now. Okay, so I think that's it for methods and all. Okay, using seal, fill, freeze and all. So these all methods will be useful for you whenever you are going to manipulate the object. Okay, and one more thing I missed it, that like we used object.assign, right? And we were not able to, we are able to let's like copy the object value from one variable to another variable. That was possible without getting any modification, but in the nested it was getting modified, right? In the nested. So that we can do using the next class. We are going for JSON methods. So using JSON methods, how it is going to change, what it is going to change, how it is making the object isolated completely, either it is nested or whatever it is. So that we are going to check in the next class. Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's it.